what we're trying to do is re-establish Adam Smith and to develop the legacy that he left Kirkcaldy, to use that to develop the town and to various aspects of the town. So I think for me personally, I'm delighted to be part of something which realises how Kirkcaldy can be redeveloped in the way that it thoroughly deserves.
This is 300 years of history that people are looking at, not just the man himself and him living in Kirkcaldy and writing his books, but the influence he's had across the whole world. And I think it will not only mean tourism to Kirkcaldy, it will mean that we can capitalise on the reputation of Adam Smith as a great economist, as someone who was interested in the community, who wanted to see economic and social development, who saw Kirkcaldy as a big centre for the world.
Adam Smith loved his hometown at Kirkcaldy. We all love Kirkcaldy. And I think this is a celebration of Smith. It's a celebration of the place that we live in. And to say that we have history here, and we have something worth coming to see.
The interesting thing is that people often think of Adam Smith as only an economist, his book, The Wealth of Nations. But he always thought his other book, The Theory of Moral Sentiments, was even more important. And the reason is that The Wealth of Nations talked about trade and about the specialization of labor and about how you created wealth. But the Theory of Moral Sentiment talked about what underpinned that an economy had to have a morality underpinning its development, that markets need morals. Markets could not be value-free, and therefore he talked about the importance of the sympathy or empathy, as he sometimes called it, that people had with each other as the important building block of a society, that people actually wanted to help each other. The helping hand was as important to him as the invisible hand.
In that connection, we are hoping to develop an enterprise centre in Kirkcaldy in the High Street, which is going to hopefully attract artisans and other craft-based small enterprises and new enterprises into Kirkcaldy to give them a place to start up.
Well, if it all starts from Kirkcaldy, he looked out over the sea from the custom house where his late father had stayed, and he then stayed with his mother. And he saw these boats and ships coming in and out of Kirkcaldy every day. And they were trading with the Netherlands and with the rest of the European mainland and the European continent. And he saw that trade was the key to growth. If you could trade the products that you produced in Fife with products that were then produced and sent to Kirkcaldy from the rest of Europe, then you could build a stronger economy for the future. So Adam Smith held the secret of the next 200 years, that if you traded with each other, you became a more interconnected community, you built up a stronger economy, then you could create wealth and jobs. And that all came out of his experience of looking out at sea in Kirkcaldy.
And this year, we will mark the opening of the first Adam Smith Heritage Centre in Kirkcaldy, the place of his birth. I think that's very important, and I think it gives us something to build on. It gives us something that is there, that people who come to visit us, the extra tourists that will attract to our high street, will come to hear and see about Adam Smith and his birthplace, and I think that's really, really important.
20 years from now, I would hope it would be more than just a heritage centre. I hope it would be an interpretive centre, an educational centre, and one which is known regionally, nationally, and perhaps internationally as being the place you come if you want to know more about Adam Smith, if you want to know more about his legacy and how that legacy can be further developed. And for Kirkcaldy itself, it's just the starting point.
You know, people will say to us, you've done really well. There's been £1 million investment into Kirkcaldy between the Close and the Heritage Centre, but what I say, this has been done in partnership with lots of people working together, lots of people helping us, and lots of people believing in the vision and believing that Kirkcaldy's worth it.
Well, I think it will show a town and a community that values its history, that recognises that out of Kirkcaldy came a great economic revolution that sometimes we didn't appreciate. I know there was one time when someone did a survey in Kirkcaldy High Street and asked who Adam Smith was, and they thought he was a pop singer. But Adam Smith is now far better known than he was 50 years ago. And the reason is the Adam Smith Global Foundation and the work that Marlon and others have done to make that happen. And the reason is the Adam Smith lecture that takes place regularly with famous people coming to Kirkcaldy. But the reason most of all is that young people in schools are hearing more about the Adam Smith Foundation from the work that is done, and therefore knowing more about the contribution that Kirkcaldy made to the economic life of the world.